we lost one son, but we have two others. And I have been on this spiritual journey for over 30 years, and I have to say these two have passed me up. They are so far ahead, and it's so cool because I get so much information from them. Like this title, Is It Odd or Is It God? That came from our youngest son. Actually, I think it was something they say in his AA group. And he's not embarrassed about being in AA, so I'm not betraying any confidences. So, I want to start with Psalm 34. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. This verse offers reassurance that God is near to those who are grieving and in pain. Now, I was one of these students that could never take one philosophy and believe it. So I started with religious science because I liked the science on the end of it. So I thought, oh, this has to be good. But then after that, I studied unity, I studied divine science, I studied metaphysics in general, and then I started studying Kabbalah. And what was cool is I was able to glean from all of it what I believe. So I see other people nodding, and I know it drives many people crazy because they would go, well, this is the fact, or science says. And I said, well, that's what science says today, but let's wait till next week, right? Like the medicine that works so well this week, that's now off the market the next week. So everything, we have to question everything. So when I started studying Kabbalah, they used this book called the Zohar, which is really just Torah, but it's the people that, quote, are allowed to study Kabbalah. It used to be only 40-year-old Orthodox men. And so we've committed a real crime because women and all of us now can study it. It's open for everyone. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he was one of the famous Kabbalists, said, the righteous, even in death, are called living. Their influence and light continue to shine in the world. This quote from the Zohar reflects the belief that the soul's impact and presence continue beyond physical death. So I loved that, especially now. And then Rabbi Isaac Luria, who was called the Ari, he was another, like, probably the greatest Kabbalist, said, the soul does not perish, but rather ascends to higher realms of existence. The separation is temporary, and the connection remains eternally. The Ari's teaching emphasized the eternal nature of the soul and the continued connection between the living and the departed. And then here's my little writing, which won't compare to theirs. Is it odd or is it God? Grief is an emotion we will all experience if we live long enough. There is no instruction book on how to handle it, how long it will take. It is like walking down a strange path in the dark, no clue as to where it will end up. During my personal journey on this path of grief, some very strange things have occurred. I was talking to our younger son one day about a particular one that just happened. And he said, Mom, what do you think? Is it odd or is it God? And I thought, what a great title. I began to contemplate all the things that have happened since the loss of our son, and I have come to the conclusion that the God of my understanding is walking with me every step of the way. So my answer is it odd or is it God? It is definitely God. So I would like to share some of these things that have happened during this time because they really are, some of them are just super profound, the connections and things that have happened. So sometimes one of the things about grieving, and if I ask you how many people in this room have grieved over the loss of someone, can I see your hands? So you pretty much, this is going to be a pretty universal topic. Number one, we don't know when it's going to come, right? You can be just going about your day, you're feeling pretty good, and all of a sudden something triggers, and there it is. And then you can go through it. At times, as you go through it, you think, I'm not sure I can do this. I don't know if I can live with this amount of pain. And then, as time goes on, you begin to recognize that that amount of pain doesn't last permanently. That it might last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, but it will subside to where then you go back to living your day until the next wave. And I don't know if any of you follow me on Facebook, but I write every night, it's a mother's journey through grief, and I talk about each day. Then it's kind of funny because our oldest son's significant other, she loved this one. I said, I kind of compare it to labor pains. I know you men won't understand it, but women certainly will. How it comes, and then for a moment you might have a relief, but then it comes again, and the intensity changes all the time. And that's kind of how I would sum up what I'm going through with grief. And I can only talk for myself because I can't read your minds yet, but I'm doing more reading on how to be doing that too. So maybe next time I'm here I will be able to read your minds also. But going back to this, what are some of the strange things that happen? Well, number one, I talked to our son. And I've been told, you talk to them like they're here because they are. And I think about the word nowhere. I love words. Words are amazing. I think God must have put the words together. Because think of the words nowhere and separated. And what does it say? Now here. Where are you going? Nowhere. I don't need to because I'm now here. I mean, there's so many of them. Your word is be impeccable with your word. Dana. Where's Dana? There she is. Take the word word and add an S, and it's sword. And a word can cut like a sword, or it can soothe like a salve, depending on how you use it. I mean, words are so powerful. I love the word own. When you live in the present, when you live in the now, you've already won because you own the present, and that is a gift. That's one word, 3 letters, changed 3 ways. And you can start, word and world. You know how important words are? There is no world out there. Our words create our world. Take the L out of world and you have word. That was another one. That was our son who passed away, by the way. That was his talk. I was telling him that. He goes, Mom, there's a great talk. The power of the L. Take the L out or add it, and it changes everything. So I'm thinking about some of these odd situations that happened. So, one of them was really odd. Our son loved the band, the Grateful Dead. I mean, that was one of them. Twisted Sister. I mean, some of these really, kind of odd ones. Not that the Grateful Dead are odd, but how many of you been to the Michael's craft store? Right? Almost all of us. I am walking out of Michael's like 2 weeks ago. I turned to the left and I go, what the heck? There was a magazine rack. I didn't even know they sold magazines other than how to make things. It's a Grateful Dead cover. And I'm thinking, that is the weirdest thing. I was thinking about my son. I turned my head. I'm in a craft store and there is the Grateful Dead. And so I called up one of my sons and I said, "Did Sean like the Grateful Dead? Mommy loved them." I went, "Oh my God," because that is the most unlikely place, right? Okay, butterflies. Butterflies are supposed to be a real sign, right? So our ex-daughter-in-law, and it's really nice, we're close with our ex-daughters-in-laws, and when this happened, she bought me and my other daughter-in-law and our two granddaughters this little tiny butterfly. Jill and Karen, and who else was there that day? We were sitting at the table at Breadco on Clayton Road. It is all concrete. There's a couple of little plants outside the fence. And typically butterflies don't really come onto concrete path. I mean, they like flowers and things like that. And we're sitting there and we're talking about our son, and the butterfly, they go, "Oh my God, look, there's a butterfly." And he like flew right into our group, made a circle, and left. And we all saw it. Then one day, I walk into TJ Maxx, and I mean, like, you know how they have all those clothes out, there's all lines of them, but there was just one pair of pants and it stood out. They were black and white, they were on the end, happened to be in my size, all butterflies. Well, I knew I had to have them. In fact, I was supposed to meet someone for lunch. I was half an hour late because I wouldn't get out of line, and it was a long line, and they had one cashier. But it was like I knew I wasn't going to let them go. And what's really exciting is when other people are with you and these signs occur. So we went to Chicago a couple of weeks ago to visit our wonderful niece and little great nieces. And we're taking a walk around our neighborhood, and there's really big houses there, and the roofs are, I mean, they like reach to the sky, they're ginormous. And I said to my niece, Lori, what is that sound? It was like this loud screaming, screeching. And she looks up, she goes, "Aunt Mar, look, it's a cardinal." And that's supposed to be another sign. And then someone said they didn't think cardinals made noise. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to look that one up. But this cardinal was like screeching. It was like, look at me, I'm here. It was like screaming. I mean, it was kind of a scary sound. And so I just went, "Hi, Sean," and he flew off. But it was a really, really strange thing. So I've had a lot of really people come out of the woodwork that I haven't, a woman that I met like 30 years ago, and she lost her child. Well, through writing on Facebook every night, she contacted me. We had lunch, and I spoke at the Center for Spiritual Living 2 weeks ago. When she came in, she handed me a little gift bag, and it's just a good thing I used my judgment and did not open it there. So I got home and I opened the bag, and it is this beautiful little square with a heart mirror. She knew I loved hearts because I had talked about it. I have heart jewelry, heart artwork, heart clothes. And this little mirror had all these little mirror hearts all around the whole thing. So it was the one big one and all these little ones. It still had the tag on it, 10 pounds. It was bought in England. She said, and she wrote this beautiful note, that this has been here waiting for you for 24 years. My daughter bought it in England, and I knew it was for you. And it was just one of the sweetest things, you know, that I could even imagine. It's just people coming out of everywhere. But then this was one of the strangest. So I exercised pretty regularly, or did before this happened, and then I kind of stayed away from the gym for a while. I've been walking and whatever, because sometimes you just don't want to go into it with them. "Oh, I haven't seen you, where have you been?" So sometimes I just lie. I go, "I've been to another gym," or whatever. But then sometimes I want to tell people. Well, there was this one woman who I've been dancing next to probably for 6, 7 years. It was way before COVID. And she said, "Where have you been?" And I said, "Well, we lost our son May 23rd. And she said, oh my God, I lost my son 2 years ago. And just like right in the middle of the dance in Zumba, we just hugged. Well, then there was this other nice man that dances. I mean, we all dance within just this little spot. We always kind of stand near each other. And this man asked me the same question. And I told him, and he got tears in his eyes. And he said, my son passed away 5 years ago. And I had been talking to our son in the car. I need your help today. I really need a sign. And that was where this came from. So I called our younger son and I go, listen to this. And I go, what do you think? Do you think it's a sign? He goes, Mom, is it odd or is it God? What more could he do? He's sending you people to help you. And I started thinking about that, about the power that we all have in our lives to talk to our loved ones, not to just let them go, but that as we go through the grieving process, we don't forget. Mary, where are you? Where's Mary?
Right here.
Where are you?
Right here.
There's Mary. God love Mary. This woman, I told her last night, I think she was sent to be my guardian angel. She's been reading my post, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
you do.
Yes.
Because she told me when she saw I was speaking at the Center for Spiritual Living that she was going to come here, drop off the treats that she makes every week, and come and give me a hug. And she sends me the most wonderful prayers and uplifting things. And I'm just thinking, where do you people come from? Who's sending you? We are all here for each other, and we just have to recognize it and let it happen. And for me, it's like, for me, the whole thing is balancing, because my son, our son, is no longer here physically. I can't hold him, I can't talk to him like this, but I can still talk to him. But the key is, I am still here. And so I feel like it's my obligation to live out and do my life on this planet until it's finished. And one thing that came clearly, and this was amazing because it only came about 2 weeks ago, was that I want to start doing private counseling. Well, guess what? When I spoke at the Center for Spiritual Living, a gentleman came up to me, goes, I'd like to talk to you. He called me on the phone. I've been doing counseling for him and his wife. And I mean, so it's almost been like you get these thoughts that come from God and then they manifest. And so that's how I've decided that to live my life. And when I talk about grief, it isn't only in losing someone physically. It can be losing a job. It can be losing a relationship. It can be losing your pet. There's so many things that fall under that umbrella. So I just want to end with my poem. Is it odd or is it God? When things occur you cannot explain, what do you think? Do you strain to seek a logical reason why this happened? Or do you just sigh and think, just a coincidence, or maybe just strange incidents? That happened, you know? Sometimes strange things happen when you go somewhere or do some things. We never know what life brings. Yet, what if there is another choice? What we hear from the still small voice, the one that whispers in our ear, stating clearly, I am here. I am with you day and night, through your fear, through your fright. Trust me, I will never leave when you are happy or when you grieve. I hold you up when you are about to fall. I do not wait for you to call out that you need me. I will always be right here. I hold you when you cannot stand. Just reach out, I will take your hand. Through all your pain, through all your tears, I am here to calm your fears. Just trust, you must know by now. It is I that wipe your tears when you cry. When things happen you do not get, just take a deep breath. Do not fret. It is I sending you the help you need through my helpers on earth to do the deed. Whatever it is you need right now, someone is there to show you how. To move forward, move with grace. You see me in every face. Whenever something happens that seems odd, just simply know it is I, your God.